I'm just going to take a quick look at his Zen quickly. There was just a couple things on the Zen I wanted to point out for people before I look at some of the other stuff, namely the Ana and that kind of stuff. I just wanted to look quickly at the Zen. Just a couple things, just like a couple minor things he does with his Zen early on that are just like, I find super fundamental that a lot of Zen players don't do. Obviously there's a lot of the basics that obviously he gets done very well. So again, I just wanted to point them out and make people aware of something he does that's I think's important. So again, his positioning in general is very safe map-wise every time. He plays corners very well. As you'll see throughout, as a point I'll make throughout the kind of just watching him play, he makes a lot of like smart choices in the sense of kind of in terms of positioning. He's always going to play around a corner, or I mean, payload's not amazing to play around, but again, it's an additional option to a corner. So he hasn't seen a Widow at all yet, but again, he's playing safe, knowing that there might be a Widow on the map. Peeking very gently and only when he needs to in terms of timing the orbs. So he'll time his peaks in time with the orbs. Again, even if the Widow was to shoot here, he can quickly dip behind cover, makes it very safe, and all of the above. Again, Discord orb targets tend to be ones that his team will be looking to kill or to move on to. It's always just, you continually change it, but whichever one you feel is requiring the most pressure from you, then you just whack a Discord orb on. No. I think it was here. So, minor detail just quickly here. He does it very quickly, and it's something really, really small that I just wanted to point out in general. But as is, if we watch the bottom right here, just as I slow it down, look at his ammo count, and look when he does as he starts to reload. So watching the ammo count, seeing what happens when he reloads. I'll slow it down so you guys can see what happens when he does reload. But the minute he reloads, just check what he does movement-wise. But as he reloads, he starts to... You know what, chat, you can tell me. Anyone in chat, tell me why I picked that out specifically. I'll give you guys a minute, because I think there's a delay to stream, but like... Why would I show that specifically? Hi Thumbtack. Thank you for the follow, Thumbtack. I am well. Yeah, so he's looking around for flankers, he's just keeping his awareness up. So whenever you have downtime, say any hero really, you should be probably using that downtime to check, especially if you're playing support and a weak support like Zen who's easily diveable or slow to move. You need to be looking around for these, like, you know, he might have heard the Genji. I'm not aware. You would potentially hear the Genji there doing double jumps or whatever. But as far as I see it, he's checking around on flanks in the downtime. So every hero is going to have it, but obviously the heroes that are diveable, you know, your Widows, your Zens, your Ashe maybe if you don't have Coach Gun, then, you know, checking these angles when you have just a moment just to see it is really, really important. Like, checking that these are things that, you know, are things that you're checking and making sure that you're always aware of your surroundings. Thank you for the follow as well, Davia. So again, just checking your surroundings, making sure you're completely aware of everything that's happening. He does it here a little bit again when he reloads, but I think he's more focused on killing Kai. Again, this is just, it's a fairly stacked ranked game anyway. Checkmate, Iris, Kai, and then Jake, Six, Pelican. So again, some very solid like owl names. Six is obviously a streamer. I think he ends up switching here after this first bit, but again, his positioning, he's very aggressive with his positioning, but I think it's because he knows where the threat is. He knows Kai is really the only real threat to him, and he forced checkmate out already. So I think that the positioning is based on just the aggression that he knows he can take, really. Or it's ranked and he's being a bit lazy, either way. But I think the aggression is fully warranted here. He's forced people out, so he's not really scared. There's nothing to be scared of, and he has Khaleesi pocketing him too, so there's not too much wrong with that. A good pick. He also has Trank as well, so he doesn't really care. He's playing, but like, because it's ranked and he's playing Zen, he's allowed to play for himself. Like, if this was a team environment, I probably would force him back to higher ground, or, you know, ask him to play a bit differently and a bit more passively. But because he's playing into a brawl, B, he's playing ranked, he's looking just to have an impact on the game, which is something I say a lot to people and things like that. It's just making sure you have impact on the game when you go into ranked. I've said it to many of you, you aren't going to jump into a room with 5 other randoms, some of which are mute, and expect them to do a task with you and do it well. So just making an impact on your own is really, really important. So again, him playing a bit more aggressively, taking the dominant position to kill the Ana or to put pressure on the Rhine is really, really important. Yeah, he pays with his life, but in all honesty, like, the trades and the value he got outweigh the fact that he's dead. He moves on to Ana, so we'll look a bit at his Ana and just using in terms of positioning what he does. But I think most of this is fairly lax Ana play. He's very, very aggressive, and you'll see a lot of kind of me talking about the DPS to heal ratio on a lot of these heroes. So it's really, really important. Again, they're just things that I'm going to be looking at mostly for a more aggressive style of flex support play that you might see from more top Ana players, more top flex support players. Some play incredibly passively, some will just sit and do their job, and some will take risks. So Lukemino tends to be one that will take a lot of risks, but get a lot of value from the risk he takes. Positioning here I found was a bit weird in terms of, I think he's unaware what the intentions of his team are in terms of rotations. Best flex supported plat. So normally with an Ana player, especially with the cart kind of, because you tend to have, Watchpoint tends to be 2 fights really, which is basically splits the map in 2 on all 3 points. You'll get probably 1 to maybe 6 or 7 fights, depending on how quickly a team will roll through or how quick the fights are set up. So normally you'll have a contest for this area on Watchpoint, which is kind of fight 1, and the cart will make it to here in this kind of region, and then you'll have a second fight in which it tends to happen around this corner, and it will be a contest for the next pieces of high ground and the server room to the right here. So it'll be contesting for this space and contesting for these kind of areas here, with the cart being on corner. Obviously a brawl gets a lot more efficiency from being here. The Ana positioning is fairly safe with doorways. So again, looking at things like that, that's what you tend to get on Gibraltar. You tend to get these two stages where fights will happen. And really, most of the fighting here is just for territory. Cart will get pushed anyway by a tracer or whatever. But normally for this second section, moving on quickly, is I'd expect an Ana to be playing here, maybe even in and around here. Maybe even pushing all the way to server if needed to get the angle. But I'm not sure what the intention was down here. I think he was just looking for just to play aggressively and on the front foot. Obviously a lot of cooldowns wasted, hence why I'm unsure with what his position was. Oh, another small thing you'll notice as well, especially now he's on Ana. I'll see if anyone can point it out. If not, by the end of this Ana look at his Ana. If no one said it to me, then I'll show you it. But for now, if you guys spot it, then let me know in chat. But there's something he does that's should be well known, but I don't think enough people do it out of habit. Again, to do with the ammo count and to do with kind of maximizing output, which is what a lot of this will be, is just like nailing the output of how much you can actually do. So if you guys can pick up on things that he does without me telling you, then you're learning. rather than me just telling you. Anyone could tell, but teaching is a completely different thing. But again, what he does here is smart. I think he's trying to bait the deflect here by backing up. So the Genji checkmate knows he's going to sleep. He tries to land the sleep here, but in terms of positioning here, what he does when he as a reaction to the blade, to just instantly S key, so that the Genji finds it harder to combo together a good ult, especially if it's a nano blade. So he's looking for the sleep, and he knows the sleep's coming. So the deflect is coming, so he's not going to sleep. He's then, after that, he's looking to put, make it even harder for the Genji by backing up. Right? Backing up, giving as much space between him and his team as possible. He knows he's going to die if he doesn't hit the sleep. It's inevitable, right? So, looking for these things is, again, he backs up, and checkmate only gets one with the nano blade, right? Because he can't dash to the next person and start chaining kills after kills after kills. There's a lot of kind of just back up, get away from my team, so he can't chain together as easily. I think he takes a chunk out of 6, but it doesn't really matter here. Again, just an aggro. This is where I'd expect an Ana to be more often than not. So again, just things like that. He's just looking very, again, always like between shots here. You're not doing anything, right? So again, just increasing your uptime, just making sure you're always doing something, right? He's listening, checking. Okay, there's people above. Is there someone there? Is he peeking me? Okay, I can go back to tapping heal. He's looking around. Again, he has quite a high sense as far as I know, and from what I can see. But even then, he's very aware, like hyper awareness, just to kind of like check everything, right? And he does it intermittently with kind of, okay, I can put a heal in, but while Ana's clicking it, I can take a quick peek left, a quick peek right, up and down. I can look around me quickly, and then I can stick another heal shot in my Winston. And again, he doesn't do a lot of scoping in, other than to quick scope people, right? So you want, obviously, the hit scan that comes with scoping in, so if you want to hit a quick shot, then obviously you don't want the travel time from the unscoped shot. So again, the only time you'll see him scope in is to quick scope, and to hit a hit scan shot quickly. But again, it's very aim dependent and things like that. But again, his team are up already, so we've won this fight pretty much off of the Primal and Jake killing the Ana. They're 3 up. He has really no need to heal. No one's going to die. He checked that as well. He checked that no one was dying, and he's gone straight to DPSing. Here's the I need healing, just locks onto the noise. Or the count at the bottom, so. It's unlucky that his Winston moves out of his LOS, but that's not really his fault. I think that's the Winston just not knowing where his Ana is. That's more of a communication thing in comp, just knowing where your team are. Again, the thing with watch point is breaking second point on anything within a team or any of the such like that is very difficult. So again, looking to take these grounds as early as you can is really important, which is what he's doing here. He's looking to take a strong position 8th as soon as he can. Being stuck in these kind of areas in any game, in these big wide open areas, especially playing a squishy, is just not what you want. So you want to immediately take him to a spot where he's got decent LOS of the whole map, and he's got good space to run away, right? He has Mega to his right, he has plenty of cover from anything that wants to shoot him. We ignore the missed shots, it happens. But again, nobody needs healing, nobody's engaging, it's just kind of rotating in and out, so he's DPSing. He's just increasing what he's doing, he's never not doing anything. I'll take this back just a second so you can see all this clip in one go. Again, only peeking when he needs to, making sure that everyone's topped up. If not, he's going to start DPSing. Now, ideally he doesn't re-peek this angle, which he doesn't. Again, now the other Ana's clocked him, like standing there, then he's going to rotate, like he would be if you were playing hit scan or you're playing snipers. Same concept, just rotating away, making sure that he's not going to get picked off unnecessarily. You can heal through this as well. The gap in the box is here. It's the right idea, but I think he just misses it. Now, the only reason I'd give up high ground here is I think he hears the Genji, and I think he's trying to get an angle on. Otherwise, I'm not sure. Normally, I'd say to an Ana, or I would say to an Ana here if I was kind of being critical of his Ana, then you don't drop from this high ground and you make a rotation. Either you make it, if you can't get the healing to your team, then you need to make a rotation or make a move, especially if you're up. There shouldn't be too much pressure. Obviously, SF or Kai used sight, so he has to be more careful. I think that would be the only reason for him moving, is just being careful and moving into this area. But I'm not sure why he drops there. Hi. I do a lot of free coaching, but some coaching is paid for, yeah. This is obviously a high-level review and a breakdown, but some coaching is paid for, yes. I do some for free if you want free stuff. If you put hashtag exclamation mark commands, it'll put you into it should give you a link to my Discord, and you can drop a code in there. Again, no one's taking any damage, so he's DPSing, and he forces Lamp as well, which is amazing value for something. He forces Iris off of high ground, and he forced Lamp. Because, as far as I'm concerned, that's value. Thank you for the follow. I cannot say that name. I can't read today. Yeah, it is the Khaleesi one. Shall I do a Khaleesi VOD review just as a joke? I don't think anyone would watch that though. Kind of. Bleh. I have loads of all the VODs that I've been submitted recently. They're all got Khaleesi in them for some reason. I'm in Diamond at the moment, and I tend to play main tank or Rhine. That's your Rhines, your Winstons. I've been playing a lot of McCree. But I have experience coaching in Australian Contenders and Contenders Trials Europe. Again, playing this corner, like even if it's aggro, he's still playing the corner. It's just, again, just smart positioning, just making sure he knows where he is constantly. Again, Pelican was full health, so he's not looking to heal him. Then, you know, he's looking to just DPS. He knows Pelican's probably not going to die, so he's just going to DPS. It's not, so yes, I do. And it's not me, it's fine. Yeah, I'm happy to answer that question. I get asked it quite a lot. It's not necessarily about my skill, but it's about my understanding of the game. So I can coach because I understand the game and I understand interactions very well. I'm someone who is also very good at teaching. I have qualifications in sport that mean I'm a good teacher, and I learn very quickly, and I learn the ideal ways the game should be played. And yes, I should be implementing it myself, but I spend a lot of time coaching, so I don't have time to implement the skills myself. But personally, I've worked my way up, and I have a lot of experience coaching from other things, and a lot of experience in game. I just don't tend to put it into my own gameplay, and I personally lack the skill to be able to put it into my own gameplay. Hence why I found helping others who do have the skill very, very fun. my skill at clicking heads doesn't diminish my knowledge of a game or a certain subject. It's like if your drama teacher or your, you know, isn't an amazing actor or singer, right? It doesn't diminish from their knowledge of the subject. Again, just looking around, awareness, just checking for the Genji, making sure he's not being pressured too hard. Again, the instant instinct to press the S key and immediately he's trying to run away. Unfortunately, I think he kind of gets a bit greedy with when he sees the hog land the hook, but I think it's kind of a kind of instinctive reaction to try and put pressure. Yeah, Krusty's plat, I believe, as well, so that might be old information, but Krusty was... Although Krusty doesn't actually play the game that much, as well, I found out. Again, DPSing. Again, just maximizing. Most of your efficiency will come from unscoped shots. I think the unscoped time between shots is lower, if I remember correctly, is lower than the scoped in time between shots. If you're scoped in over time, you'll have less shots. So I think most of the work that an Ana player will do to increase efficiency is the thing I asked you guys to watch out for at the start in terms of ammo count and what he does when things happen. And the other thing is just trying to hit as much unscoped as you can. And it means that also you're not sitting in a corner scoped in. Again, you can be that more hyper-aware player. You can be more aware of what's happening in and around you. I noticed that he never reload cancels. He does reload cancel. That's all he's doing. He reload cancels every shot, pretty much. Let's see if he... he doesn't do it there. He reload cancels most of the time, though. It is, again, when you're at this level, it might not impact your plat games, for instance, right? Where he does it most of the time. Let me see if I can find a good example of him reload cancelling. I've seen it a couple of times here. That one he didn't do it. Does it there. Again, it's to do with the level of play rate. So squeezing the best and every ounce, especially when you're playing, you know, top 4 contenders, is super important. So really, really maximizing what you can get out of the hero is super important. Okay, yes, I can move the bar for this bit. Just 1 second. I'll take it back. So you guys can see. I think he missed this one though. He mistimed it a little bit. He mistimed that one because the ammo count didn't go up. So as soon as the ammo count goes to 12 or goes up, you can cancel it. Same with Hog, same with most heroes, you can reload cancel. But Ana, I think for effectivity purposes, it's good if you're really trying to squeeze the last ounce. If you're a bit lower down the ladder, I don't think it's necessarily an important thing to look at. I think things like awareness, positioning in terms of taking corners and taking a smart position are way more important for a kind of lower tier player. But if you're pushing, you know, 4-1, 4-2, 4-4, 4-5, 4-6 even, then again, every little minute thing, every ounce of value you can squeeze out of the hero is important. Again, not something I'd primarily ask an Ana to look at doing, but again, if you're wanting to stretch your game, then it's something you can start to try and implement. Hello, Billy. Again, just this awareness of always looking around him. He's always looking for someone to heal. He's not just standing there scoped in, healing whatever's critical or healing tanks. He's always looking around, looking to just hit a flick or hit damage or something. He hears the Tracer blink behind him here, and I don't know if he heard his Widow behind him or she said, "I need healing here." Listen. I'm not sure if there was a call or something like that the Tracer's there. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear it on stream because it might be a bit too quiet. But you can hear the Tracer double blink behind him. So I think he hears the Tracer blink behind him and he's just instinctively turned around here. I'm not sure if Pelican commed or if there was a kind of "I need healing" button. I can't hear it from the Widow. I can hear the Genji say "I need healing," but not the Widow. So, again, just listening out for that tiny, specifically Tracer blinks have that very distinct beep, kind of bleep noise. So, again, important things to listen out for. Again, you can notice he only scoped in there to quick scope. So again, just being that little bit more aware of your surroundings, always checking. Again, gets on with his business, but still checks behind him, make sure the Tracer's not there. Super important stuff. Again, makes a really big difference to his game in particular. Some of these micro things are really not what I'd recommend if you're on the lower end, but if you're on the higher end or pushing, really trying to push your game, then the little things matter. Specifically, the big things I'd look at and take away for someone lower down, especially from this in particular, just listening to me, would be awareness. If you have downtime, check, look, what's happening around you. Right? If you want to add the reload cancel, that's fine. Positioning would be really important. Playing corners, playing distances, right? Not standing in a corner, not standing so far back that you're standing in a corner on your own, scoped in and completely can't see anything, but not so close that you're in a brawl fight and you're gonna get your head taken off by a Rhine swing, right? So we will move on to... I had Nepal as my next best code. Now, this one's a Baptiste game. Most of the ones that I was sent were a Baptiste game. So, I just want to take a quick look at some of the stuff he does here. And then I'll look at Dorado as well. There's a couple of good things to look at. And Anubis as well. But again, most of the things I'll point out here. And you guys can do some coaching as well, in the sense that I'll ask you guys some questions if you want to answer them. If not, I can just continue what I was doing. Again, so a lot of times when I'm coaching players, I will ask you questions and get you, again, pulling from outside experience, just getting you to answer questions or even demo things for me maybe. So just a few things that I'm going to point out, and then you guys can look and try and pick them out for yourselves. I did write a little... I'll post this into my Discord after. I have kind of 3 or 4 tips that will improve most people's Baptiste, and you guys can go back and watch your own back games or whatever. I have one for Sombra as well if people are interested in that, but it's about 3 or 4 tips I think I've written down here, just for everyone to improve their Baptiste. I was just going to go to everyone and say, hey, look, these are the things you have to look at. So, heal to DPS ratio, which you'll see a lot here, especially at the start here. It's 2 damage, 1 heal. So, every time you do 1 heal, you need to do 2 damage in between. This is to maximize the output Baptiste can have, and it doesn't lower his heal per second over time. So, over time, you'll still be doing the same healing if you were to click heal, click heal, click heal, click heal, click heal. You'll still be doing the same heal over time, but this time instead you're just outputting even more with the DPS. Even if it's into a shield, the impact over time on resources is quite great. And I think you'll start to find that even if you're in a kind of Rhine Bap mirror, that if you're shooting the shield and the other Baptiste isn't, that Rhine shield's going to break way, way faster. So don't be scared to like, heal 2 shots. Even if it's into a shield or you flicked and you missed, heal 2 shots. Heal 2 shots. Next tip is lamp, and looking at lamp in general. It should always last the full duration without being broken. And for players, it's about building the muscle memory that when you react, you look for a corner, you look for a wall, you look somewhere for it to be safe. It's about instinctively building the muscle memory to be able to hit spots. Right, so here I'll show a good example. There's a good example on this map a bit later on of that, and I can talk through that afterwards. You can pretty much always improve the positioning of lamp. There's always somewhere that it could have been instead of out in the open specifically. And I don't see many Baptistes. I have forced a lot of flexible players to start trying to learn this. And then the other one was regen burst, but I'll go through it when we look at this VOD. And another one is exo boots. If you're in a bad position, then if you're coming up against a Mei, it's not awful to tap the crouch button occasionally when you're looking for the other Mei. When the Mei has wall, you need to be looking just to tap crouch occasionally, just being just that next level, you know, okay, well, the Mei is going to wall my Rhine. Okay, well, I'm going to tap the crouch. I think I worked it out yesterday thanks to Mitra, if she's in chat. Thanks to Vic yesterday. I think it goes up to, I think if you just creep into the second... I need a thinner pen. If you start creeping into this kind of second half of this third one, or, you know, just into the third one, you'll go over the wall. You'll go over a Mei wall. So again, just having that extra advantage gives you that extra half a second that could mean life or death for a Rhine that's walled. So this lamp was instinctive. I don't mind the positioning of this lamp in general. It was just like a very quick, hey, my Rhine needs saving. And he tends to be very late to react to walls. Again, hence why I say sometimes crouching can have a big impact. I think they end up winning this fight, because their Mei kind of messes up with wall and their Junkrat gets some kills. But again, also I'd like to point out that this is also a very loaded game as well. Paradoxed is top OD, obviously Pelican and Piggy, and then Hydron, Iris, Checkmate as well. So Hydron is on American Tornado, and obviously Iris and Checkmate are playing an Owl, I believe. I think this is someone I know playing on a different account, but I'm not sure. So you can see here, if I just slow this down, this little section down a little bit, it just shows the efficiency, so you guys can see it. So he starts here, so 1 heal, 2 damage, 1 heal, 2 damage, 1 heal, 2 damage. Like, even if he's not shooting at anything, he's just in his rhythm. You know, even if it's just kind of, hey, look, I hit air, you shot the air, cool. Get into the rhythm, get into the feel of doing it, you'll massively, massively increase your output. Uses regen burst early before the engage to heal any chip damage. Now, he times this okay, or he times this well, because they're not gonna push through by the time he gets this back. So this was fine. Normally I wouldn't recommend kind of regen bursting as early, or regen bursting off cooldown, so to speak. I believe this was solo queue. I didn't ask him. I asked him for code, so I'm not 100% certain. I think this was mostly solo queue, but I'm not sure. Ranked is ranked, and at the top level, some people speak, some people don't, some people duo. Okay, so so this lamp here. This was it's not this one actually. I think it's one of the next ones. This lamp was an aggressive lamp just so his team could push forward. I think if he's going for an aggressive lamp though, this still needs to be like further along. I need to think. This needs to be further along, especially if you're going for aggro. It needs to be pressuring into this area of the map. Again, you're looking for this map control here. If you're wanting to play aggressive, you're looking to control this open space with the aggression and the window. So I'm not sure why the lamp doesn't end up either somewhere like here or here, or even just further forward, even potentially here. I wouldn't necessarily have it over this way, but again, it's a potential option that will probably garner more value than the one he's used. I understand why he's used it. He's trying to defend himself as well. I feel like if the aggression's there and he puts it further forward, he's still going to have cover for himself if he takes a step forward, and he's going to have more protection from his team for it. So there's the regen burst again. Like I said, it comes out before they've started to push in, so he kind of gets away with it. Now, obviously, the DPS is... Obviously, if you need to heal, you need to heal, but again, try and keep that rhythm going of the DPS. See here, his team are up, so he's just going to damage, really, unless he sees someone that really needs healing. You can see him out the corner of his eye checking this top left, seeing if anyone there really needs heal as well, so I'll roll it back just so you guys can see. I'm saying. So his Rhine pin's onto point. You can see him here. He flicks this heal shot and he carries on his flick a little bit so he can check this McCree, whether this McCree really needs heal. Regen burst, but he's getting healed by the Lucio, so it's all good. And you can see it as well with the DPS as well. You don't reduce your heal per second, but you're going to massively increase ult charge as well. He's got window every fight here pretty much. So again, increasing ult charge, making it really... I think he's getting a little bit of info on the Hanzo there from his team, but again, just the awareness to just preemptively flick to where the Hanzo would be, even if you miss. The pressure's immense. I think this regen burst he used here was lazy. This was just him like chilling and queuing ranked. Now, this lamp is important. I want you guys to tell me where... So I'm going to give you 3 or 4 options where this lamp would go before this happens. So he's going to use lamp here. Now, I want you guys to name the ideal spot for lamp. So I'll number these. So... there you go. 6 options, chat. There's 7 of you there. Let's see. Where do you think lamp should go? Off the back of this shatter. Just type a number in chat. Two. Anyone else want to input? 5. Okay. Sam, if you're still in here. 5, Botero, okay. So 2 people saying 5. So here. Anybody else? I'll give you 30 seconds. 5 or 4. Okay. Alright, well. 5, not really. unfortunately. This is very out in the open still, seeing as they're pushing out here, but the straight line is here. What other answers did we have? Xavier said 2. 2 is okay. 1 is the better option up against this wall. Because of the LOS of Lamp, you're going to get blocked by anyone. Anyone trying to push, anyone that was over here is going to get pushed. 4 is okay, but it tends to... Problem with option 4 is, if I draw the field, option 4, if you have it up against that wall, it's going to come out to about here. Maybe not even that, I'm being generous, it would probably be more like this in the middle. So I mean, it would come out to probably here, this line here, which really doesn't save anybody. So again, not an amazing option. So really, the best option is option 1. If you're panicking, option 2 works fine. So we'll probably go with 1, 2. Probably call that number 3 if you have to. I wouldn't use either of these options necessarily. If you're in a panic, you could maybe get away with that, but that's very, very far out. That wouldn't cover it. That wouldn't make much of a dent in saving someone. So best options are 1, 2, and 5 for this. So again, if I'm being, if I'm VOD reviewing or trying to coach specifically, then this Lamp is, like, the fact as well that he does it preemptively. Like, he hears the shatter go down and he preemptively, like, throws this. Like, you have the time to put it in a nice spot. And you'll see later on he does do it sometimes, but he's not very consistent with it. So again, looking at just, like, things for a hero individually, that's very important to just, like, get it into muscle memory that that Lamp needs to go in the right space. I had some other codes for Baptiste that I wanted to look at quickly. Anubis first round. Temple of Anubis. Now most of these games are very short, but they show what I want to show. Again, another fairly stacked game with... I'm not sure, he might be... I feel like he might be duoing with Pelican because he gets him in all his games. But maybe not. Again, Pelican, Checkmate, Hydron, Paradoxed. Over this. So his team aren't under any pressure here, so he doesn't really need to heal. He'll probably use Regen Burst here because he wants to DPS. Which is probably not the best idea. I think if he chucks one heal orb to his Rhino, he'll be fine. One heal shot to his Rhino, he'll be fine. But they're not taking enough damage for him to consistently need to be spamming heal out. I'm not sure why I think he just falls here. But jumps back up anyway. I think he gets lucky that the Lucio or somebody knocked him off. Again, you can see he has to be healing, so he's not DPSing. Obviously, it's not a do this all the time, every time. But again, if you're not in a high pressure situation where somebody has to be healed, then the DPS is important. So here, there we go. This Lamp is far, far better. Again, this Lamp is going to get the full duration, pretty much, right? Because unless people are standing on... I need to put my pen things back up. Yellow. Unless people are standing on this area and shooting into here, which they're not, they're trying to rotate and make a play out of here, this Lamp is far, far better. Much, much better Lamp. Again, its LOS is completely locked off. No one's going to break that. Right, so important things on the Lamp. There's proof that sometimes it does happen, but again, you need to build this so that it's muscle memory. So if you have second accounts, or if you're a higher level player, kind of Plat Plus, and you have a lower tier account or a second account that you don't really care about the SR, focusing in games on making sure that this is always in the right place is super, super important. Wouldn't surprise me if he uses window here. So this window was used for the purpose of keeping his team alive. Anyone that got caught in Blizzard, he was going to heal them through the window. Again, I don't mind the window positioning here. Window position is something I've been an advocate for, but I think it's something that, unless you see the opportunity, it's very difficult to get the window rotated properly and get a very, very good position with it. Not sure with this lamp. I think he just panicked. It's more of a panic lamp. Again, though, it didn't. You know, if we're looking at it, you know, even if he's panicking, even if it isn't just a deliberately, you know, even if it is a just oh shit I might die kind of lamp, you know, if we're being really picky, it needs to go here, right? It's gonna get the full duration out of it, so he can ego this even a little bit more because he knows this lamp isn't gonna get broken. Obviously, we have long Baptiste, but like again, just even if it's a reactionary lamp, it just needs to be better, right? Which is the improvement that a lot of people skimp out on when looking at Baptiste gameplay a lot of the time. I think it's something really, really important is just to build that reactionary speed, to have it in the right place. It'll be the same for any reactionary ability. Like if you're using, I mean, I think Lamp's very specific, but there's a lot of reactionary things that you can build into muscle memory. Like this will be muscle memory as well. You'll find if you force yourself to do it, after a while you do it without thinking. Again, they use High Noon, so he's not going to use Exo Boots to jump up. I don't mind this lamp, it's okay. It's kind of 50% on my kind of not so wasted to wasted meter. So wasted obviously being 0% and 100% being the first one where it wasn't wasted at all. In terms of positioning, that one kind of scores a 50%. It's okay, it's kind of around the wall, but it's panicked and it's not in the safest spot. Just for anyone, be careful taking ego duels like that against the Kree unless you know your aim's good enough. There are safer ways to play it if you're not as confident with your aim as somebody like he maybe is. Again, using in-game audio. So does anyone in chat have their game in like Korean or like Japanese or another language that they're not necessarily fluent in? If any of you are in my chat now, don't do that. People forget the importance of audio, but he heard that flash found the hammer to his right. That's why he checked it, because he heard it. Same for ults, same for cooldowns. You can listen for the voice lines if you're really, really interested in it. Right? If you're invested in improving, listening to voice lines is important. Because I guarantee some of you probably can't tell me the difference between a friendly high noon and a foreign high noon, and you panic no matter what. So again, important things to listen for are, the flash fan, the hammer, obviously, is an important thing to listen for. But if you don't have that sort of thing, then, you're missing out on an aspect of the game. He's still aware of this Kree. He's still checking his team, but he's focused on the Kree who's on the flank. Gets stuck in a bit of a bad position, but again, yeah. I think it's just a bit too aggressive, and he didn't really have much care for what was happening. Okay, as Ryan puts in the shift, and they do well there. Now, would you guys want to see Dorado, or are you happy with what I've shown you? And I think that's kind of good enough for you guys.